My name's Jamie Lee, and today I'll be doing a review of the latest Superman movie, James Gunn's Superman 2025. I want to start this review by being honest and saying that I wasn't really hyped about this movie. When I first heard that James Gunn was doing a Superman movie, I was hyped because it was James Gunn, and I do like all of his movies. But I was like, Superman, again? We've been here before, and I really wanted a Batman and Nightwing movie, I'm not gonna lie. And I guess a lot of it, if I'm being truthful, was the fact that it won't be Henry Cavill. Everybody's got their own Supermans, and that's totally fair, but my Superman is Henry Cavill, and he is Superman to me as Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. You know what I mean? Like, there's some people that are just yours and you only see that. But I opened my eyes as we saw David Corenswet in the suit. I was like, okay, yep, got it. And then I saw the trailer and I saw Superman bleeding and being human in a way. And I thought, wow, this is interesting. This might be different than what I expected. I really liked that when this movie started, we got the context. So we knew that Superman had already been known to the world for 3 years. And that was a huge sigh of relief for me because my gripe with it was that it would be another origin story, another alien comes from Earth and grows up with Earth parents and meeting Lois Lane again. I feel like the story's been done, and I was really refreshed knowing that the world already knows about Superman. We've already established the origins off screen, of course, but we now have this Superman, so let's see what he can do. Let's see him finally in action, which I feel like we didn't really get much of in the past with the DC universe because they were sort of setting it up and then it cut short. So I was really excited that yes, we don't need to rehash the past. Let's go from here. Let's see what he can do. There was so much action in this movie, and honestly, I thought it looked incredible. I messaged my friend because she worked as a VFX supervisor on this, and I was just complimenting her, like, that looks so good. Because honestly, I thought it looked so good. The color tones that were used, the aliens, that little tiny alien, the fire breather one, that one looked so cute. Like, he looked adorable. And then he grew up to be this big troll and still looked really awesome. And then when we got to the holding cell, there was lots of different beings in there. And one of the chauffeurs that was driving Lex around, like, he looked super scary. Like, all of the creatures in this just looked really well done. The colors really set the tone and made it feel, I mean, apart from when you're in the black hole where it was supposed to be really dark, it made it feel really warm and really light for the tone of the movie. I also really loved the suit. I liked the trunks. I liked the vibrancy of the color of the suit. Like, it all looked very, really loud colors. There were scenes a few times actually where they did close-ups when they were filming it, and they, did a close-up of the S when he was zooming around through the sky and things like that. And it just looked so cool and so badass because you've got the score playing in the background, which you're already feeling like, oh my gosh, this is Superman. And then you see that shot of the S and, him flying around, and it just looked badass. And I remember seeing scenes like this when my dad used to watch Superman, and you'd see Superman flying around, and they zoom in on the S, and, you've got the Superman score in the background there. And I used to think how cheesy it was and like, oh, that's so campy. My dad loved it. He got a kick out of it. And then I watched it in this, and I'm like, that is not cheesy. Like, it really does make you, maybe that's age, I'm getting older, but it really does make you feel like, wow, that feels cool. That feels so heartwarming, seeing this super guy just zooming through the sky and saving the world and things like this. But yeah, those shots really got you in the moment and got you in the feels. And I got those feels from watching scenes like that. Despite me being in love with Henry Cavill, I think David Corenswet did amazing. I mean, he looked the part. He looked like Superman. He acted like Superman. Like, I felt the hopeful feeling. When you think about Superman, you think of hope. He's a symbol of hope. And in this movie, he was more than just a symbol. He was a human of hope. So I think he portrayed that really well. I love that in this movie, he was given personality. I feel like that really didn't come across in Man of Steel. We know that Clark Kent is supposed to be this goofy, awkward, adorable guy, clumsy, things like that. And he was in this, he's kind and caring and things like that. But also in this, when he became Superman, or even not Superman, even when he was having the conversations with Lois, he was charming. He had this sort of charm about him. He had a sense of humor. He had a bit of sass with some sarcasm sometimes with a couple of lines there. And I feel like he was given a little bit more confidence in him as a person. And that could have been because he'd been established for 3 years. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I like that he got a little bit more personality in this movie. I think James Gunn sat right on the line with his humor. As I said, Superman was very funny. He had a sense of humor. but you can't overdo it. And James Gunn has that comedic flair. He likes to try and be jokey all the time, and that lands in some movies. But in movies like this, where you also have to be really serious, as well as be fun, as well as be light, as well as be hopeful, there's a very fine line with doing that. And I think he did it really well. And I think what helped with that is that not all of the funny landed on Superman. Like having Crypto there to have those funny moments where this dog's jumping on you when you're in pain, and experiences like that we as humans get, like dogs will jump on us all the time. Crypto jumped on Superman, having those playful moments, having those moments of fun land between Crypto and Superman. They were really good because then it wasn't just, oh, he's a joke. Oh, he's so funny. Oh, they've changed Superman, and have the critics up in air about his character being changed. He wasn't changed, in my opinion. That is how I knew Superman to be. He was this charming, sweet, strong savior of the world. So I don't feel like they changed him a lot. They just gave him a little bit more personality and a little bit more room to shine, I guess you could say. And I liked that. I also think the movie, or James Gunn, was very self-aware. He knew that he would be copying a lot of criticism for this, or there would be a lot of shine on this movie. And he did his best to try and, I guess, do it the best that he could, knowing fully well that regardless of how well he did this movie, there would be critics, there would be people that hated it, purely because he is the one that created it. So I think adding them bot monkeys in, the bot army, and having the super shit hashtag for Superman, I thought all of those things were really funny, but also self-aware. Like he knew what he was doing, and I think he did it very clever. I think there was also a nod to that in the, was it the end scene or the end credit scene, where you see Superman and Mr. Terrific looking at the crack in the wall, and Superman tilts his head, which I love because that is so Rick Grimes. Different universe, completely different setting, but that is so Rick Grimes, that head tilt. Anyway, I liked it. And he's looking at it out of confusion, like, that is odd. I think he even says that is odd. To me, I took it as, okay, there's a crack in this universe, right? It hasn't been working. It's been broken. And James Gunn has tried to fix it. This is what we've got. It's only going to get better from here. Sure, it might not be perfect in line. It might not be set in stone. There might be cracks in it, but it's up and running or flying. It's functioning. And that's what we're working with. And yeah, I feel like that end credit scene was a nod to that as well. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, I could not fault. She was beautiful. She was smart. She was courageous, fearless. She had really great chemistry with Clark slash Superman, and I really liked her character. I thought Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was amazing as well. I don't think he got enough screen time, or the screen time that he was given, I don't think it was utilized correctly. I really wanted to see more of his dark, evil persona that we know Lex Luthor to have. He seemed very petty, very childish, like a little brat not getting what he wanted sort of thing. They did their best to try and show that he was calculated and very smart in examining Superman's moves in order to be able to predict what he's going to do next. And I thought those scenes as well were really, really funny because you've got these grown adult men and women, I think, were in there. And it was just like them playing a video game, like F6. And he's got the moves of whatever F6 was, like some Mortal Kombat action, and like B59. It was just so childlike, but it was adults doing it, and they seemed to be having a blast, which I thought was really fun. The point is, he seemed very childlike and very petty, whereas Lex Luthor is very evil, very calculated, very dark, and I really wanted to see a bit more of that side to him. I don't think we got enough of that. But in saying that, I think that James Gunn relied on the fact that we already knew Lex Luthor to be those adjectives. He expected us to already know the lore of Lex Luthor, and that way he could spend more time on introducing new characters and things like that. So I think that was the reasoning behind not seeing such a dark Lex Luthor in such a light film, that we were, supposed to have light and brightness and hope and all these good feelings, and then having this really dark, evil man draw down on this movie. So I can see why it wasn't that way, but also I really wanted to see a little bit more edge, a little bit more darkness, and a little bit more evil from him. Is that a bad thing to say? Anyway, speaking of new characters being introduced and given airtime, we get the Justice Crew. Not the Justice Crew, sorry, that is a band. We get the Justice Gang, not the Justice League either. So tongue-tied, so confusing. Anyway, not yet the Justice League, but we get the Justice Gang. And I liked these guys, sure. I mean, I didn't like Hawkgirl. I'm sorry, I did not like Hawkgirl. The constant screeching every time she flew around was very annoying. I feel like her moody persona, I haven't read the comics, so I don't know if she's like that. It was like she didn't want to be in this gang. She didn't want to be in the movie. Like her attitude, her persona was just so, ugh, do I have to? Sort of. I was really confused with the whole not wanting to be Superman when she dropped the president out of the sky, which was a very evil thing to do. I mean, even though he was doing evil, albeit. But she was just really aggressive in how she was like, I am not Superman, and then dropped him. It's like, okay, well, what's wrong with being Superman? Like, huh? In saying that, I liked the other characters. Gardner was awesome, irritable, but you also liked him at the same time. And I know that that haircut is comic book accurate, but oh my God, that haircut was really hard to get on board with. And the one person who I absolutely loved out of that league, out of that crew, what are we calling them? A gang? Oh my Lord. That gang was Mr. Terrific. He absolutely stole every scene that he was in. He was just this suave, badass. Like, I don't think he smiled once. I do not think one time I saw that guy smile. And yet he was so likable. He was so badass. He was so smart and he just got shit done. And he had one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie was when he had that, cool song playing out in the desert and he's got his balls rolling around and there's bombs and people dropping off and, all of these cool scenes and he's just moving around like so cool. Meanwhile, Lois is like, oh my God, head, her mind exploding with what the hell is happening here. That was an awesome scene. And yeah, I can't wait to see more from him in the future. Metamorpho was another character that was extremely lovable. You had him have so much hope to be back with his family, reunited, with the baby and with his wife at the end. But just having that hope for family again, that really set the tone of the movie. It really fit in very well. So it was very clever how they did his scenes. Clark's Earth parents were equally as great, very lovable, had a really great connection with his character. We didn't get much airtime, screen time with them, but again, like the Lex Luthor thing, I think James Gunn expected everybody to already know that lore, to know that he had a beautiful life growing up with his Earth parents, and fair enough, they didn't need much airtime to show how much they loved their son. I really loved Superman's speech to Lex Luthor about being just like us, about being human, and I'm not stupid. I know that he is a god. I know that he is a metahuman from outer space. He's not a human. But he wants to be accepted as humans. He wants to live among humans, not be worshipped as a god. He wants to be loved, be accepted, be welcomed on Earth. Just like most of us, to be honest with you, we all want to feel loved and welcomed and accepted. So that speech was really beautiful and it just felt really wholesome to me because in every Superman movie that I've watched, people, specifically Batman, always refers to him as like an alien. And even in this, they called him it. And that's just so sad and so degrading when all he wants to do is just be a man. He wants to feel love and have a family and feel all those things that we want to feel. So hearing him be accepted at the end of this movie and just finding happiness with, just sitting on the moon with Crypto, just watching over Earth, it was just really nice to know that Earth accepted him now, or the people on Earth accepted him now, and he was loved. He did love Lois. Lois said she loved him back, and he does have this beautiful family. And that ending scene and it was a real good comparison because at the start of the movie, when Clark was in pain, which also really cool to see that like Superman can bleed. He is human. He is like us, kind of. I liked that. I liked seeing that. Seeing him get his ass kicked and yeah, not being so super was a little bit humbling. But also in that scene, you've got the sun shining on him and he's clearly in agony over the sun healing him and fixing his wounds and stuff like that. And he's got his biological mother and father's voices on repeat telling him half of the message. But at the end scene, you've got the pictures of his memory, the videos of his memory of his life playing, and he smiles. He's not in agony. He's not in pain. He's being healed by the love of his family on Earth. And oh my God, if that is not a tearjerker for you, seeing him smile at the end like that while being physically in pain, that was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment and a perfect ending for that movie. I think that the future of DC is in very good hands. I think that James Gunn has proved that this is a profitable movie. I think that it's a good movie. From what I've seen, a lot of people liked it. A lot of people that didn't like the political aspect in the movie, which fair enough. I do believe that politics and real world events probably shouldn't be in a fun, hopeful superhero movie. I don't know. I just want it to be fiction. I don't want it to feel real. I know what's going on in the world. It's sad what's going on in the world, and I don't want to see it in a hopeful movie that is supposed to be that. It's just supposed to be fun and not real life, and that's what I want to see. So the political side of it, I understand. I don't want to see that either. Or maybe it's superhero fatigue. I don't know what it is. Or maybe they just didn't like it. I don't know. But I liked it. I'm hopeful for the future of DC. I was very pleased with this movie, loved the score, and just it felt so nostalgic to me hearing the score and seeing Superman flying around. But at the same time, it felt so refreshing seeing that Superman, that score flying around. It was beautiful. I loved it. Hope you guys loved it as well. Let me know in the comments section if you've watched it or if you're going out to watch it. Let me know your opinions in the comment section. And if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel. And my socials are in the description box, so make sure you give me a follow on them as well. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, take care. Bye.